stream. What's up? What's up? Let me make sure we're running over here. Are we live? We're live. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. How you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. Today's a big day for Diddy. Huge day. Day of reckoning. His sentencing. Let's. And by the way, they said this thing could take like all day. It could take all day. It could take. Oh, that's me right there. What? Good morning. How you guys doing? Welcome to. Could take all day. Could even run into Monday. Holy moly!
But that mass magnitude that you normally would see of both supporters and
make sure everything's up and running.
Non-supporters of Sean Combs, that is starting to assemble a little bit now. That's always the case when you have trials where the players, if you will, the main characters are of such degree, such celebrity as your Sean Combs. Or
let me get the streams running, and we'll go over some of the details.
On trial, so you expect that type of gathering down here. But as you pointed out, prosecutors were looking for no less than 13 months. That's 11 years and 3 months. The defense is
11 years.
That, accounting for time served, they wanted no more than 14. He's already done a year, which conceivably means that he could be out by the end of the year. As far as what he will say when he addresses the court, well, Lisa Evers is inside. She's been covering this ever since the 8-week trial wrapped up in July, and when he was found guilty of the lesser of those two charges, the lesser of the charges, convicted on 2 counts of transportation to commit prostitution, which, as you pointed out, carries a maximum of 10 years each. So he's looking at potentially 20, as opposed to the maximum life in prison, which was associated with the charges that he was acquitted of. So that's what's going on here. We will also be joined by Seth Zuckerman, one of our attorneys who's been weighing in on this during the trial and in the months leading up, the weeks leading up to where we are today. We'll be bringing you that as well. But Dan, from here, we're going to send things now back inside to you.
Antoine, you've covered so many cases in Lower Manhattan over the years, so many high-profile figures who have been in and out of this
guy that reports all the updates
courthouse. They're no strangers to celebrity. Can you put into context just sort of what you're seeing in terms of the media, the people out there, to some of the other cases that you've covered over the years?
Well, it's a similar circumstance, Dan. Thank you for that question. I appreciate that. It's a similar circumstance as to when I covered Weinstein 1, and that was pre-pandemic. That trial started at the end of February of 2020, and then it was in January, and it wrapped up before we shut down in the pandemic, which was in March of 2020. And that was intense because you have a Hollywood mogul, studio head, accused of predatory behavior.
Inner City News, thank you.
Assaulting.
Thank you. My brain was just like freezing.
Like that. And that was intense. This is different because Sean Combs is, of course, from New York City. So there's going to be a little bit more intense scrutiny,
Inner City Press, because
he is a homegrown product here, regardless of what side of the fence you may be on. Nonetheless, when it comes to...
All right. So the prosecutors want Diddy to get at least 11 years. The jury found Combs guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. That's what he was found guilty of. He could, I think the max, I thought it was like 10 each. Could be 10 and 10, 20 years. I don't think they're going to give him 20 years. But the prosecutors are requesting 11 years. The defense attorneys have requested a sentence of no more than 14 months, which would have been met. He could be released by the end of 2025 because of time served. Okay. And as far as inside right now, let's see. Combs' lawyer mill around. He still has not been brought out. A U.S. Marshal brings out a big sheaf of papers and a red book, picks up the chair to search underneath. All clear. Combs' lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, and Brian Steele are talking low next to the lectern. Alexandria Shapiro stands with Nicole Westmoreland. The prosecutors are seated at the front table, -1, Maureen Comey. Judge clerk asked, "Are we ready to proceed?" Was that Mr. Donaldson, who just went back to the holding cell? Yes. Now they're waiting for Combs to be brought out. Okay, so they're about to get started.
Now, what will make this a little bit more interesting is that the jurors have already been gone. That's done. Normally in situations like this, at the end of the trial, we have to try to get jurors to see if they want to comment, see if they have anything they have to say. Why did you feel this way? Entirely at their will. But that's not the case here. It's going to start at 10 o'clock. Judge Arun Subramanian, is on the bench.
Yep.
He will be listening to both sides. He will hear what the prosecutors have to say. He will hear what the defense has to say. And one of the things that we're going to get into with Seth Zuckerman when we bring him on is just how much weight does the statements that come from the victims. There were letters that were sent to the court saying keep Sean Diddy Combs in jail. They deemed him a threat to the public. So a lot of that, we want to break that down and also find out how much of that, Dan, how much of that is going to come into play as well.
I was going to ask you about that.
A lot of moving parts,
Because I know, and I'm sure you know, Cassie Ventura, of course, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, at the center of the case, the woman in that video that everyone saw. She wrote a letter to the judge essentially saying the horrific decade of my life stained by abuse, violence, forced sex, degradation, the many lives that Sean Combs has upended with his abuse and control. And essentially she's saying she still lives in fear. She's asking the judge not to take any leniency.
No leniency?
Did you get a chance to take a look at that letter?
Only by reading it on the subway, down there, and then just watching coverage, this morning when Briella was here, whom I'm relieving just now, Briella Tomasetti, our colleague, but Dan, that's what I'm saying. Those statements, Judge Subramanian has to take all of that into consideration, and it's ultimately at his will, it's his discretion how he will choose to go, with this. And so
it's interesting.
Sean Combs can make statements and he can, no, Dan, I was just going to say, Sean Combs can make statements. He can, say, give me a second chance. That's fine, but ultimately the judge will decide, how this will go, what he will get, and how this will play out.
It's interesting exactly what you're talking about, because we know the prosecutors obviously have asked for this longer sentence. His attorneys are asking for essentially time already served. And then we have the probation department and the recommendation. Essentially, that's the neutral body, or at least it's supposed to be the eyes and the ears of the judge. And they've kind of come in between in the 7-year range. So a lot of people are kind of saying maybe the judge will go plus or minus somewhere along those lines. Is that kind of what the sense of what you're getting when you've seen some of the coverage and talked to some of the legal experts out there?
Absolutely, Dan. Yep, that's exactly how that's going to go. I'm going to bring in Seth Zuckerman now. Seth just got to be down here to us. Roy and Dan, our colleagues, are here putting him in position in place. You may see him duck underneath the camera for just 1 second, but we're fluid. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Dan, for making this happen.
Thank you so much for the 10. Thank you for the support. Good morning, Mel. Thanks for the coverage, bro. Always appreciate it. Cafecito. Cheers. Thank you. Yeah, I just had a coffee already this morning. Take a look at this. So apparently there was a frenzy for Sean Diddy Combs. Sentencing begins with paid line sitters staking out spots 24 hours in advance. What? So the people are paid, I guess, to sit there, hold spots. And what, are these spots sold? Look at this. People camping out in tents ahead of Sean Diddy Combs' sentencing. What are these, COVID tents, I guess? Or just tent? Save old line dudes. Oh shit, I got paid to sit there. All right. You couldn't pay me to sit there. Wow. How much time is Diddy going to serve for the charges, the transportation of prostitutes? Which time is he going to get?
70 to 87 months that the Department of Probation has recommended is really going to weigh heavily.
So how old is Diddy?
And I would expect to see a sentence somewhere in that range. Maybe I've been predicting a little bit
55 years old. 55 years old, man. So even 10 years is pretty devastating for him. He'd be 65. 20 years would be 75. If he gets 20 years, like his life is over. I mean, he could still come out if he lives that long. He could still come out and try to enjoy some of the years of his life, but I don't think he's going to get 20, man. 20.
Now, this will essentially also send a message about him. He's new to the bench. How do you think that would go across? And how much pressure is it on him to make the right decision?
I mean, look, this is a very high-profile case. Everybody's watching. But I don't think he's thinking about that. I think he's thinking about what is just, what is the right decision based on the conviction in this case. And as we know, he was only convicted of 2 of the lesser counts, right?
Yeah,
the 2
lesser
prostitution counts, the Mann Act violation counts. They each carry a maximum of 10 years independently, but it's almost unheard of to get that sentence for those convictions.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's going to come in much lower. As you may recall, the prosecutors initially over the summer when Diddy was convicted had asked for something much lower and then had raised their ask when they submitted their sentencing memo this week. So I think the judge has a lot to consider here, and I think he's got
Sugar,
a lot
thank
on
you for
his
the
plate
gift.
because there's a lot.
Jojo,
of
thank you for the
factors
membership
in play.
too. 4 months.
There's obviously a general deterrence, sending a message in a case of this magnitude, so that the public and so that no one wants to commit, no one tries to commit a crime of similar characteristics and says, oh well, if Sean Diddy Combs got sentenced to this, I'm going to be deterred from committing this crime as well.
His defense was trying to say, Combs' defense alluded to the fact that someone's personal actions and behaviors, something they carry out in private, should not constitute, jail time and convictions like that.
Breakoffs.
If you were presiding, just hypothetically, how would you receive that message?
I mean, I think it's one of the many arguments. I think the hardest thing for the judge right now is considering the conduct that he heard at the trial for which Combs was acquitted. I think that's the biggest legal issue that the judge is going to be addressing today, right? Because there was obviously all of this evidence about violence and coercion that was presented during the trial. And the judge has to weigh all of that while also knowing that the United States Sentencing Commission has outlawed the use of acquitted conduct. Now, the prosecutor's argument here is that it's
that's what I was like, can they use that?
With the conduct that he was convicted of. The defense says, Judge, you shouldn't consider any of the acquitted conduct because he was simply convicted of 2 prostitution counts and none of the other violence and coercion or any of those other factors matter. And I'm really looking to see what the judge says about that conduct for which Combs was acquitted, because that'll also open another avenue for appeal for Combs if the judge relies on that acquitted conduct heavily. Because like I said, the Sentencing Commission just last year changed the law on this and on whether or not courts can consider acquitted conduct.
I thought I was wondering, yeah, because like the other stuff that he's acquitted for, when the judge is considering the sentence, can he take that into account? I mean, if he's acquitted for it, I don't think it should. Let me check with Inner City Press to see what we got for updates inside the courtroom. Okay, so he was brought into the courtroom at 10:11. Sean Combs is brought in a white shirt. He puts his papers under the table, leans back, and blows a kiss to the gallery. His mother, Brian Steele, standing next to him, whispering in his ear. All right, blow a kiss. And that was it. Okay, we're still waiting.
RICO means racketeering, basically organized crime or some sort of criminal empire engaging in unlawful activity.
Correct, and he was acquitted of that. That was the most serious count.
I think he will get 10 years each to run concurrent, and the feds do 85%, so he will be out in 8.5.
Interesting theory there, Wendy. Thank you for your membership, too. 29 months. I think he will get out in 10 years each to run concurrent.
Convicted him of
At the same time.
Mann Act violations.
We know Gloria Allred is here. She's got a presence, and she's got an interest, and as far as representing, people in similar matters like this. As far as Supermarian goes, and we know that it can go either way. This hearing could be over in minutes, or it could be over in, it could take several hours.
Take hours,
like
yeah.
that.
I would be surprised if this took minutes, Anthony. I would expect this to take hours. There's even some rumblings around the courthouse that this may not even complete today.
Wow.
It could be
So
it
I
could
would
run
say
to Monday.
multiple hours. I mean, I know the defense has asked for 4 lawyers to give presentations, and they've
Damn!
submitted a 15-minute video for the court to watch. I know that Cassie is here to speak. One of the other alleged
Cassie's going to talk?
is going to be speaking.
Wow.
There was nothing on the docket about Jane, but Jane may ask to speak as well.
Exactly.
And the government's going to give a very lengthy presentation in addition to Diddy's lawyers. So I expect this to be a multiple-hour sentencing at a minimum.
Antoine,
Seth, stay right there
just
for 1 second. So
quick,
Dan, as you just heard, Seth just...
As we have our legal
go ahead, Dan.
expert there, We obviously are live, and we're also live on our YouTube channel. And so we have some questions from some of our viewers out there, legal related. And so one of the questions in particular is about the experience of this judge, a judge who may not have had a case as high profile as this one previously. Can you ask the attorney that we have there how much that may weigh into his decision about whether or not he sticks closer to the recommended sentencing from the probation department?
Got it. How much will Arun Subramanian's experience weigh in determining a factor? It's a question from one of our YouTube social media followers.
You know, it's an interesting question. Obviously, he doesn't have much experience in sentencing criminal cases, and this is obviously a unique case with the high-profile nature and the facts of the case. So the lack of experience, I'm sure, will, he'll err probably on the side of caution. But I'm sure he's spoken to his more experienced colleagues on the bench. They generally speak in chambers to one another. In a case of this high profile, I'd be surprised if he didn't speak to some of his colleagues beforehand. But obviously, he hasn't sentenced anybody like Sean Diddy Combs before, and so that'll weigh some impact on whether or not he's willing to give him a lesser sentence, probably, and take a chance and giving Combs a second chance.
And then again, 70 months was the one part of the parameters recommended by the Board of Probation. Correct? The
Department of Probation gave a range of 70 to 87 months. 87. So 70 is a little under 6 years. Right. 87 is a little over 7 years. So that's a 6 to 7 year range. I think the judge may come in a little bit under that, but that's the Department of Probation's recommendation, and they're supposed to be a neutral third party who makes a recommendation to the court based on the facts, based on reviewing his history, and they make a recommendation to the court, and that's what they did in this case.
Antoine, I know we're kind of going with
one second. Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
We're sort of going with this team coverage here, where essentially I'm asking you a question and you're asking the attorney. We're sort of making this all work together here.
Is what it is.
It's just how we're having to do it this morning.
What it is.
So many of our viewers this morning are sort of weighing in and say, free Puffy. They're his fans.
Free Puffy! You got a lot of support. There's people that love him.
The judge use more of a general deterrence, in a sense, using Puffy's case as sending a message to the general public that this type of behavior is not tolerated, as opposed to maybe a more private citizen?
How much will the celebrity factor play into the sentencing, given the experience to this degree of Judge Subramanian?
You know, it's something that we're never going to be able to calculate. But obviously, he needs to send a message to the public, right? One of the factors the court is supposed to consider is general deterrence, deterring the public from committing a similar offense.
No, I don't think so.
The high-profile nature of Combs shouldn't impact anything, but it's the high-profile nature of the case in sending a message to the public, this is the sentence you get if you commit these crimes. That's supposed to be what the judge takes into consideration.
Seth, hold on one second. Dan, hold on one second. I got a thought that's going to save both of us. I'm going to give Seth my other earbud. That's the one that I don't use, and that one goes in you fit it in. So you should be able to hear Dan as well. So Dan, you ask another question, because we both should be able to hear you now.
Okay, fantastic. You know, it's interesting. If he were to get, let's say he gets the 6 or the 7 years, you know, he sort of sticks to that judge's recommendation. Most likely he'll get credit for the time he's already served. And then once he's in, because he's a first-time offender, maybe there's programs when it comes to drug rehabilitation and other things. How will that actually play a factor? Will that be something that he could essentially get out earlier than the 6 or 7 years?
Yeah. Yes. There's obviously things that entitle him to early release. So no matter what the sentence is, unless it's a time-served sentence, he'll go back to the MDC. And then the Bureau of Prisons will designate a facility for him to serve out his sentence. And at that facility, he'll be eligible for certain programs where he may be able to get good time credit.
We got a little update. So it says, all rise. The clerk says this is U.S. versus Sean Combs. The judge says, do we have the signed order of forfeiture? Prosecution says, yes, I'm handing it up. Judge says, first, I'll go over that I have received and the pre-sentencing reports. I'll hear from the parties. Judge says, I received the defense's reply of memo October 2nd and the letter from Mr. Combs and the video the defense plans to play here in court. I appreciated the letters. I've received the government's letters from Miss Ventura and others. I appreciate them. Defense says we're going to submit a course evaluation from MDC. Prosecution says we don't have a copy. Judge says please give her one. Prosecution says Mia no longer wishes to address the court today, in part due to the letter submitted by the defense bullying. What? What the? They're getting rowdy out there in Chicago early. I didn't think they'd be up that early. Friday, don't they got work? So who's Mia? Mia is a former personal assistant to Sean Diddy Combs, who testified against him during the trial. She worked for Combs as a personal assistant from 2009 to 2017. She accused him of sexual assault and described a toxic and unpredictable work environment. Her testimony included accounts of being physical violence and deprived of sleep and being sexually assaulted multiple times. And one incident where he forced her to perform oral in a closet. Okay. Leading to the sentencing, the prosecution requested that Mia be allowed to give a victim impact statement, even though her specific allegations were not part of the charges of Combs being convicted. Combs' defense lawyers strongly opposed this, filing a letter in which they accused Mia of being a liar. Oh, shit. Oh, somebody got arrested. Let's go. Uh-oh. Oh. Oh. I guess they don't have work today. I guess they don't have work.
Conspiracy and the sex trafficking. So, they're asking for a sentence as if he was convicted of all those other things, but he wasn't. So I don't know if the government's ever going to be truly satisfied with no matter what sentence he receives.
Seth, you mentioned the pathway to the appellate process. Would that basically essentially just being retried all over again?
Well, so no matter what sentence he receives today, his attorneys will file a notice of appeal with the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. And they'll have a bunch of different arguments. Some of the arguments that they had in their Rule 29 and 33 motions to the judge about the sufficiency of the Mann Act. I think one of them is interesting, is the spillover prejudice of the acquitted conduct, which the jury considered in convicting him of the Mann Act violation. And that's one argument. And the second argument may be whatever acquitted conduct the court considers in the sentence. As I stated earlier, the United States Sentencing Commission just last year outlawed the use of acquitted conduct in sentencing. The government's argument here is that it's intertwined with what he was convicted of, so we should be able to use it. So how much the court relies on the acquitted conduct is something else for the avenue for appeal. But obviously, if he's appealing, that means he's doing time at a Bureau of Prisons facility somewhere else in the country. And I'm sure the defense won't be happy with any of those options.
Seth, I just want to...
Multiple arrests happening. You guys see that?
I just want to update you real quick. We did just get an update just a minute ago. Sean Combs has entered the courtroom. He entered the courtroom Friday. He's wearing dark pants, a yellow sweater. He was allowed to wear civilian clothing, white collared shirt underneath. He waved and blew a kiss to his immediate family. All of them were there to support him, shaking hands with them. That's an update from a Washington Post reporter who's inside. And Seth, I don't know if you have to go, but if I could just ask you another question or two, if it's okay.
He's with me.
He's good. All right, he's good. Okay.
He's ours.
Okay, good.
Lisa Evers takes
over. You kind of were talking about it, and it sort of struck me as we sort of see this update of Combs coming in. He's there with his family. We've read his statement the letter he wrote to the judge. He will obviously speak today. But isn't there a difference between specific deterrence and more general deterrence, where a judge may say, hey, for you, Sean Combs, I think you may not commit these crimes again. Maybe I believe you that you're rehabilitated and all of this. But at the same time, I have to take into consideration what this conviction will mean to the general public in terms of what kind of message that will be sent. I mean, is that something that the judge is going to have to balance here?
You are absolutely correct. There is a difference between specific deterrence and general deterrence. Specific deterrence is to deter Combs from reoffending, right? To make sure that he doesn't commit any further crimes. And the government's argument here is that, well, we have someone who's been committing crimes for decades, right? Going back to the 90s. They listed all of his priors, all of the other things that he's been involved with, and they list the ongoing decades in which the conspiracy was occurring. So that's the specific deterrence angle of it. The defense's argument here is that you've got someone who's reformed, who's learned his lesson. He spent 13 months in one of the worst prisons in this country, and you're never going to see him again in the criminal justice system. The general deterrence angle, you're 100% correct, is sending a message to the public that if you commit a crime like this, you're going to get a significant sentence that will hopefully deter you. And that's something the court has to weigh, both specific deterrence and general deterrence, in fashioning the appropriate sentence for Combs today.
And then ultimately, Subramanian has to be comfortable with this decision. Once he renders it, he has to stand by this.
Ultimately, this is his decision, right? He has complete discretion right now, right? The sentencing guidelines are just advisory, and he has to do what's the most comfortable. And I'm sure he's been thinking about this since the date of Combs' conviction in early July.
Absolutely.
He has had 3 months to think about it, but he may go into that courtroom. I've heard from other federal judges, they go into the courtroom having an idea, but they want to hear the presentations. They want to hear what the government has to say. What do the victims have to say? What does the defense have to say? What does the defendant have to say? And then he may take a break before pronouncing his sentence. So they oftentimes go in with a number in mind, but sometimes they could be swayed higher or lower. But yeah, ultimately, he's the one who has to be the most comfortable with his decision. He has complete discretion.
Okay, I'm updating some stuff in the background. We're going to take a look at what's going on in the courtroom.
Dan, do you have any other questions? Anybody else weighing in on any of our platforms?
We're tracking exactly what's happening on our YouTube page. Obviously, all morning people have been watching. It really becomes a community on that social media page on YouTube of people when they're trying to gather comments. They're making comments among one another. But Antoine, and I don't know, Seth, if you can weigh in on this either, but I grew up in the 90s. I'm 45 years old. Sean Combs was at the center of so much of...
Woo, look at that. Another arrest. A lot of arrests happening today. Let him go. All right, let's check some of the updates in the courtroom. Oh, yeah, look, they're stripping him. They took off his mask. Oh, no. Oh, he's going to melt. They don't like their mask taken off. Oh, no. Oh, man, it's not a good day for... They're taking the shoes off, too? Take his pants off. Oh, man, it's a bad day for Antifa. Okay, so some of the courtroom updates. Let's see here. So we got that all rise. Okay, we left off on bullying. So prosecution says, we think the defense's letter violated your honor's rules. Judge says, I thought the tone was inappropriate and it should not happen again. Uh-oh. Anyone beyond Mr. Combs? Defense says the Reverend and Mr. Combs' children will come up and stand together. Also, Giovanni from the program. Judge says, Ms. Slavic, prosecution says Rule 32 only applies to the parties and victims. The court is within their rights to exclude character witnesses. Judge Furman has used this to limit his defense witnesses. Judge says, but I can allow them, correct? As I overruled the defense wanting to exclude Mia. Prosecution says within your discretion. Judge says, Mr. Steele, okay for the children and Dr. Johnson. Steele, defense says, Reverend Doctor. Judge says, I'll think about the others. Judge says, now as to the objections, the defense says acquitted conduct cannot be considered. There is no guidance from any court on this. We don't know what the jury is thinking, but it's about overlapping conduct, and it only impacts the advisory guidelines range. Judge also says acquitted conduct can be considered, see U.S. versus Vaughn, Second Circuit, and other cases. Even matters that cannot be considered for the guidelines can be considered under 3553A. Now the U.S. objections, they argue for the criminal sexual abuse guideline. It's kind of crazy, though, that they're going to consider, if you're acquitted of something, they're still going to consider it for the lesser charges that you're being charged of. Like, if you were acquitted, why are they being considered? A lot of action in Chicago.
There was some legal wrangling about whether or not she was going to be able to speak, a woman who's testified under a pseudonym, but she will be able to speak today.
Oh, she will be able to speak.
Can you talk a little bit about that, Seth, sort of how that may weigh on the judge's decision?
You go, Seth.
Yeah, so, the judge is going to hear from, as you said, Cassie and Mia, and we're unclear whether or not he's going to hear from Jane. But clearly it's going to be, tearing at the judge's heartstrings, right? Saying this is how this person affected my life for decades and will affect my life moving forward forever. The trauma that I've gone through, the fact that I was victimized by this person who I loved again and again and again. That's what the judge has to hear and consider in determining what is the just and proper sentence. But certainly...
Well, Seth, also, just when you talk about the victim's statement, when you say victimized again and again, not just by him. I mean, we learned that there were hired male escorts, that were part of these drug-fueled sex marathons, to which he has been, accused of doing. And Cassie Ventura is now a mother, she's since become that. So and we also want to point out, Dan, just to acknowledge the comment that you just made, not everyone down here is a supporter, and on the way up, can tell you a number of people, who, may have recognized a couple of us, like, he needs to be behind bars, he needs to stay, so we want to point out that not everybody that's gathered across the street, is here saying free Diddy, anything like that. Yeah. There are a number of those who saying no Diddy. To be perfectly honest with you.
And we know that, I believe, from what I've seen, and I actually watched the video this morning of
Let me see if there's anybody on
Diddy,
TikTok out there,
who will make an appeal to the judge through a video, like an 11-minute video that's going to be played in court today, essentially showing him as a community leader, as a father, with some of his children, different ages there. How unusual is that to be able to play a video in court? That seems like that never happens.
Happens all the time. Well, I don't know about
it happens in rare cases. I've done it before, but it happens in rare cases. Why the judge required the defense to share it with the prosecutors and the court last night. It was released late last night. It's unusual, but they're trying to humanize Diddy, right? The judge heard so many bad things about this person from multiple different people and didn't hear from him and didn't hear from any of his family. And what they're trying to do is give the judge another side of him. That's what the letters that were submitted in support of his sentencing memorandum do. But the video just takes it to another level of trying to get the judge a feeling for who else he is as a family man, as a loving member of his community, and give the judge something else to think about, not just the person that he heard about who was committing these awful acts that he heard during the trial.
I have one for you, sir. To what degree of envy, great or small, do you see yourself, were you on, having to be in Judge Supermarion's shoes?
Look, it's tough shoes to be in, especially for someone who doesn't have as much experience as he does. But I'm sure he's going to, weigh all of the factors appropriately and find what he is the most comfortable with, the sentence that he feels is the most appropriate. We're not all going to agree on whether or not it's the appropriate sentence, right? As I said earlier, I think the government's ask is extreme in this case based on what he's been convicted of. But it's the judge who ultimately makes the decision and has complete discretion. And if the sentence is excessive, that's another avenue for Combs' legal team to appeal to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. But I wouldn't want to be in his shoes in a high-profile case like this when you don't have the experience and you haven't handled cases like this before. They're tough shoes to be in because you've got very divergent perspectives here from the victims and the government on one side and from the defense and Combs on the other. They could not be more different pictures of who he is and what happened here.
He's just going to have to dig his heels in, stand by his decision, and everyone else is just going to have to respond accordingly.
Yeah, that's why I think this sentencing hearing is not going to be so quick. I think this is going to take hours, if it's even completed today. Like I said earlier, there's been some rumblings that it may not be completed today. But yeah, he's gonna weigh all of those things and give it really hard thought. And I'm not envious of being in those
shoes.
Guys, just the world is watching.
We just got an update. Wait, 1 second, Antoine. 1 second. We just did get an update. This is from the Associated Press 2 minutes ago. The U.S. assistant, the U.S. attorney, one of the assistant U.S. attorneys, said Mia changed her mind about speaking in court after Combs's lawyers submitted a letter objecting to Mia's appearance. The letter, the prosecutor said, can only be described as bullying. The judge agreed, concluding that the tone of the defendant's letter was inappropriate and advising Combs's lawyer not to do it again. What do you make of that, Seth?
Well, I did read the letter that both the government had submitted and that Combs's lawyers had submitted. I know that Combs's lawyers took a very aggressive stance, saying that she testified under a pseudonym. They believe that she lied under oath, and they also believe that he wasn't convicted of any of the counts related to her. So they took a very aggressive stance in their letter that they submitted to the court. Obviously, the government took offense to it. She's now been persuaded, based on what you just relayed to us, that she's not going to be giving a statement today. So the government's obviously not happy about that. But, a warning not to do it again is, the case is going to be over today, right? So obviously the judge is siding with them, which is also not good for the defense because that may give an indication of where he's going to lie when it comes to sentencing. But at the end of the day, the defense feels very strongly about her role in this case, and I don't disagree with the defense's perspective of her role in this case. And obviously the judge doesn't like the way that they phrase their letter.
Let me read you the letter. First of all, let me check for some updates real quick. Let me just see if they updated it yet, because let me see. No, okay, we got 2 updates. So they're talking about arguing about letting in acquitted stuff, like can it be considered. And so it says here, there is little precedent on what type of threat is required, but bodily harm makes most sense. Concrete harms to force Jade and Miss Ventura to engage in sex acts. Does this conduct establish the convicted conduct? There was from the flight to the Caneys. Judge says, did that meet the requirement of bodily harm? There was evidence of that in the case with respect to the hotel nights and freak-offs, but in light of the constitutional questions raised, the court declines to apply cross-reference. But 3553A, since I can consider it under 3553A, it does not impact the sentence. Next, Mr. Combs marking the pads as legal was troubling, but the intention was not clear. The government could have pushed to clarify it, so I will not imply the enhancement. Let's see, okay. So the defense is arguing, hey, the jury acquitted him of some charges, so you can't use that against him. The judge responded, actually, you can. I can't consider it. Even if Diddy was found not guilty on certain counts, the judge can still weigh that conduct when determining how severe the punishment should be. So that could hurt him for the sentencing for sure. Okay. What was it? Oh, yeah. Let me check this out here real quick, too. Oh, my God.
Post your Cash App and see.
Let this guy go. I was trying to see these people out there live. Huh.
$20,000 at City Hall, and she hired her family member. Anyway, so the prosecutors were asking for an entire year. Her defense was saying, listen, she didn't actually steal anything. This is money that was given her as her salary. She gave her salary to her family members. Don't give her anything. And what did the judge do? The judge gave her 1 month. 1 month. So usually to me, it's like that 10%.
Let's see what else is here. Big crowd out there. Let's see. There's a lot of people out there. Let me just show you a quick look. Packed out there. Many waiting and wondering the fate of Diddy. Though it's probably going to be a while, though. Like the guy was saying, at least a couple hours, probably. Could even run into Monday if it's that bad, you know. Because I think they said that the defense wants all four lawyers, for their lawyers to do some type of presentation, plus a video from Diddy. Like I think some type of montage video showing what kind of father he is and how good of a person he is. So it could take a little while. Judge says the government objects to probation not considering Jane and Miss Ventura as vulnerable victims. I overrule this. What made Combs' coercion effective was their condition. Anyway, the court would reach the same conclusion. Now Mr. Combs' objections. He's not adding extra prison time based on the enhancement. Mr. Judge
submitted letters on his behalf. You know, you need to humanize him to the judge, right? As I said earlier, the judge has only heard terrible things about him throughout the course of the trial. And the children will humanize him as a father, as a loved member of the family, and the good that he's done in the community. And it's necessary to help the judge make the proper consideration in this case.
Antoine, we know that...
Dan, you did say he was dressed in
civilian
regular
clothes.
Business attire, casual business attire?
A sweater, white shirt underneath, the sort of dress pants. I guess that was a decision the judge had to make within the last couple of days. They had to officially request that, and he did request it. The judge sort of gave the overview of how the day's going to go. First, they're going to go over the materials filed by the defense and the prosecution. He said he's read everything. He walked in, he had his suitcase that was full of manila folders, that suitcase he brings in every day. They said it was kind of overflowing, so he had all the letters that everyone had written, apparently, as a part of that. He thanked both sides before everything got started, and then that's when things really started to get underway. So that's sort of where things stand inside of the court as we are getting some of these updates from everyone involved. When you're looking around outside, I mean, we know that some of the people who were testifying during the case were out there. Maybe the individual they called the Punisher was one of the people. Have you seen any of those kind of people out there?
Yeah, the Punisher was here earlier, and Roy actually spoke to the Punisher. He got him to say, what did he say, Roy?
He basically said that he thinks Diddy should get time served. The crimes
right
against him.
Do I have that video?
Was involved, you know.
So I had it somewhere.
He was more like he's suffered enough.
And the Punisher was the escort,
who's been here, and Punisher was one of the escorts, you know, that was there. Yeah, we all hearing it popping.
Hold up, I think I have it saved right here. I paused it before the stream started. The Punisher. Oh, man. He said Diddy should get time served.
All my social media is @GetPunished. That's TikTok. That's Instagram. Sheree Pun Hayes on Facebook. And I'm actually starting a podcast to talk about this type of stuff.
So that promo. I'm writing
YouTube
a book, podcast.
It ought to be the Punisher Pod, and then I'm going to try to build on this stuff.
I'll be reaching out to you very shortly. Thank you. You look very gorgeous, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, because I was getting killed online.
We want some of the Punisher.
I was like, damn. Am I that bad?
They need to see you in person.
Got you.
Hi, I'm Karina Renalducci. I'm with CBS. Do you mind talking to us? So,
just do me a favor and go back in the sunlight that you were before. Thank you.
Now you're shining. So can you tell us a little bit how you're feeling today?
Listen, man, this has been a terrible couple of months for me in terms that I wasn't even aware of. You know, I was just trying to manage it and rip and run, and I didn't realize how much of a toll it took on me. So I decided to come out today just for, like, I guess my own type of closure with the scenario. And I'm ambivalent with in terms of feeling good about the situation, but at the same time, I don't know what's from here, you know? I don't know what's from here. Like I kind of had an epiphany that, like, wow, I'm connected to Sean Combs for the rest of my life.
What do you mean by that?
Like, if you Google my name, there's nothing that's going to come up after this. And so I'm going to be managing this way after this is over. So,
what have you been doing for yourself to kind of work through that?
Kind of not focusing on myself. Again, just, you know, even before the trial happened, I was obviously trying to push a male self-help aspect with my book and, you know, that type of stuff. So I'm really trying to focus on that aspect and move into that scenario. And hopefully I can create a lane, because I am getting a ton of positive feedback and stuff associated with it. But it's still just kind of trying to pick up the pieces, man. You don't really know the magnitude of how you're affected until you're kind of able to step out of it. And I think I'm just kind of starting that process of moving away from it now that this is coming to a close.
And are you going to go inside today?
So honestly, I really thought about coming down here probably yesterday, late last night. So I had no plans. I don't even know what the scenario is to go in. And actually, probably no. No, I'm what I'm experiencing, which is helpful for me because I kind of been locked in the house for the last couple of months. You know, just even talking to you guys and some of this kind of positive responses that I'm getting, it's actually feels validated. It feels nice to be down here and getting at least a positive response from such a negative situation.
What are you hoping from today?
I'm actually hoping for time served. And look, I know there was a lot of domestic violence and a lot of aspects of the case that a lot of people can have strong negative opinions about. But I am someone who believes in the law should be the law and the precedent should be the precedent. So I just have a hard time, you know, of the idea of somebody basically convicted for transportation getting multiple years. Now, I know the judge can consider some of the other things, the domestic violence and the things that obviously, you know, his legal team admitted to. But I just feel like a lengthy sentence is almost like he didn't get acquitted of the more serious charges and he's still facing the time for it. So, you know, I've always tried to not have any bias in regards to it. But as just somebody who you know, understands the law and understands precedents and those type of things, again, it's just hard to kind of put that together, somebody getting a lengthy time for, you know, plane tickets and hotel rooms.
So you said you would like to see time served? Is that what you said?
Is there anything else you want to say?
Just, you know, for anybody who has paid close attention and gave me a chance in terms of just hearing me talk and hearing my story and judge me on that, it's appreciative. You know, it's not an easy thing to be involved in. And then just also, man, I'm trying to do other things. My mental health was impacted. You know, I did write a book on mental health, you know, sorry for the shameless plug, but, you know, just please any support that I can get.
Okay, all right. So let me check some of the updates. That was earlier, the Punisher saying that he believes that he should just get time served. Some of the updates inside of the courtroom. Let's see. Judge says Mr. Combs objects to characterizing Miss Ventura and Jane as a victim. That is overruled. Mr. Combs also objects to the escorts were characterized as victims. That is also overruled. They were transported for the purpose of engaging in commercial sex. Judge says there was Jules and Paul and Gabriel, Jules, Reggie, and Rico as to coercion. When something, if voluntary, is uncompelled, that is from Black's Law Dictionary. It's a broad concept. The threat to release videos and Jane's home, that's coercion. Meet the judge. making a legal point. If someone only consents because they're under threat, it's not truly voluntary. Okay. ICE protest, Chicago.
What the fuck are they doing? These guys got their fucking training on Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. La, 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 yeah. Oh, nice. It's a good backup. Oh, they got a helicopter too, huh? Wow.
Yeah, the smallest guy with the biggest gun. You know, your mother was an immigrant too. All of us. Would you be proud if? What would you do if she was in there? These guys.
I haven't heard anything from them, but the mic is Hey, Linz, I'm on the same IFB as Stuart if you guys are planning on taking a live hit from me.
Esto no se trata de ilegales o no ilegales, se trata de fascismo al siglo XXI. Ahora estamos viviendo el fascismo. Esto no es para ilegales o legales indocumentados, no. Esto es porque nos trae odio a nuestras comunidades latinas, mexicanos, centroamericanos, suramericanos. Ellos nos odian por el color, nos odian por nuestros perfiles. Por eso ellos están aquí, porque nos odian. Ellos no nos quieren porque saben que tenemos poder. Después de 3 años, Donald Trump, ellos van a ir a la cárcel.
Okay, let me read some of the updates here. So we're just talking about the coercion, the threat to release videos. So the judge says Mr. Combs said he was paying for time, not sex. That's contradicted by reality. He has not expressed remorse for transporting people for prostitution. Combs has challenged his guilty full-throatedly. Including after trial. Judge says Mr. Combs wants to apply 0-point offender provision from 2023, but 2024 on other issues. That is not possible under the second court's one-book rule. Next, Mr. Combs objects to the $5,000 assessment under the statute because there are no victims. Denied. Judge said, I have the forfeiture order. Is that your signature, Mr. Combs? Combs says, yes, sir. Judge says, Mr. Steele, did you review it? Combs, Tenny Garagos did. Oh, sorry. Tenny Garagos says, I did. Judge said, I incorporate the order into the judgment in this case. Okay. Diddy. Well, it's Felony Friday, guys. It's Felony Friday, so who knows what's going to come up today. It's been kind of a crazy week. Who knows what's coming today? Who's getting arrested, shooting, craziness, insanity? Or maybe it'll be quiet. I don't know. Maybe all the criminals are watching the Diddy, waiting for the Diddy sentencing. Nick Sorter last night was arrested at the Portland quote-unquote protests. I'll probably talk about that later. Let's see outside of the...
To be there, but everyone else has to go around and then come up, this way, and then enter at Baxter. So, yeah, that's just part of the lay of the land.
There's definitely a few hundred people out here, but we'll see if that grows over time. No one knows how long the sentencing is actually going to last. So we'll see. We'll see over time whether or not the amount of people outside the courthouse grows. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you guys very much. Go ahead, Antoine. Were you gonna add one other thing?
Well, no, I was just, when we were talking about perspectives, again, I remember when R. Kelly, you remember that was in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
When that happened, and I was covering that one, and it was raining. Going to Roy's point, it was raining, it was cold, but the people were still out there. Those who were his supporters, again, those who were not in support of him. So that one was a little bit more animated, if you will, and in a much smaller area, where that courtroom, that's Eastern District. Yeah, Eastern District, courtroom over there in Brooklyn, Dan. So a different perspective, the same feel, and then given, similarly cousins, if you will, of the charges.
Guys, two things we want to get to, because people are watching. We are live, a newsroom live. We're live on our YouTube channel. Two things I want to get to. The first thing is a question that we had just a minute ago from one of our YouTube viewers. That question is essentially what you were talking about before, Seth. And I just want to point out, Seth Zuckerman, former prosecutor, thank you so much for joining us, offering some of your legal expertise on this matter. But the question is, why should anything he was not found guilty of even matter during his sentence? And I think that's exactly what you were sort of discussing earlier, right? The big decision from the judge to this morning?
Yeah, that's a great question. The government's argument as to why it should be considered is that it's intertwined with the conduct for which he was convicted. Now, obviously, there was a lot of evidence at this trial that was presented, a lot of very damaging evidence, some of which the defense admitted he did. They admitted that he had committed domestic violence, that he had committed assault, that he was a bad boyfriend, that he was an adulterer. The jury heard a lot of that evidence. Now it's for the judge to pronounce a sentence. And in coming up with his sentence, the first thing he needs to do is come up with an advisory sentencing guideline calculation. And it's basically like a number system in which the judge has to come up with a point system for how many points should be attributed to Combs. And there are all of these enhancement factors that could add 2, 3, 4 points to his sentence, and that's what the government is arguing should be added, and that's what the defense is arguing should not be considered. So what I read from inside the courtroom a little while ago is that the judge said he's going to be able to add that to his sentencing guidelines.
And that's very
and that he agreed with the government's argument in that he heard some of the violence and some of the coercion. And, you could take that into consideration of other things that the person has done in pronouncing the sentence. And the judge said, okay, I think legally I'm allowed to consider that. Now, I completely agree with what the viewer is saying in that, it makes sense from a common sense perspective that, well, he was acquitted of this, they shouldn't be allowed to take it into consideration. The other argument there is the burden is beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
And the judge doesn't need to find a factor beyond a reasonable doubt in order to take it into consideration. So the flip side of the coin is to say, well, what if he wasn't charged with that to begin with, right? Then can the court take it into consideration? And the answer generally is yes. So the fact that he was charged and acquitted should mean that they can't take it into consideration, and the United States Sentencing Commission is trying to advocate for defendants that the acquitted conduct cannot be used against them. But unfortunately, it sounds like the judge has ruled with the government and that he's going to be able to take into consideration some of the other things that he heard in coming up with the sentencing guide.
That's crazy. So that's not good for Diddy. Okay, so judge says all remaining objections overruled. Garagos, the defense says, although you say some points don't impact your sentence, it might impact the eligibility for low categorization if you impose an incarceratory sentence. Judge says we can address it. Garagos says if necessary. Combs, Alexandra Shapiro, the defense says, I'd like to make some more points. We briefed extensively. Judge says 380 pages. Shapiro says we raised due process, the fairness concerns set forth by Justice Sotomayor. We believe militate for our interpretation and preclude the court for under 3553. Who's Sotomayor? Justice Sotomayor. The guidelines are now set. No more wiggle room on enhancements.
Yeah, about the cameras.
Because we are getting a lot of those comments.
Phone and she's been texting me.
We are getting those comments a lot from our viewers. Why aren't there cameras in the courtroom?
I'll walk it through.
Ahead,
it's a federal courtroom.
I'll explain. So what happens is that I'm going to get Seth, you step 1 sec back, right there. Danny, can you just show the front of the door a little bit, if you will? So what happens is, now the door that we enter in, as far as the anyone who's entering that's a non-court employee, is just to the right. If you're looking at the door that you're seeing right now, you can't see it from this angle, so just give you that is right around the corner from the one you're looking at, which is the main entrance that the attorneys, judge, court personnel go through. So once we go through that process, we have to get screened by security detail. They go through that with us, and then we show our press IDs. I'm just relating it from our perspective, and then once we go through the scanner and all of that, we're given basically like a poker chip, to then go. You take that, there are more court officers that are there, and that's when you hand them your device. And in this day and age, it's not just phones. They actually are taking the earbuds, in some cases, because they can also be, some of them are fancy now recording, so the court actually take into consideration the advancement in technology, if you will, of even things like this. And we surrender those because in federal court, there are no phones allowed in. You can take your laptop, so that's how some of the notes are coming out, that you can do that. And generally, like old school, journalists, I have always tried to follow in that line. I always just take my legal pad and a pen with me. I just take notes longhand, like that. But no phones are allowed in there, which means that you can't take pictures and things like that. This is federal court. Now, at the local level, it's entirely at the discretion of the courtroom. The judge can say yes, say no. We submit paperwork for that. But that's why I mentioned earlier about no phones being allowed, because we have to surrender our device.
Defense says, I wanted to preserve this for appeal. Should there be an appeal of your sentence? Judge says it is preserved. The PSR says the offense level is 27. I agree with that. The criminal history category is 1. This leads to a guideline of 70 to 87 months. This leads to a guideline of 70 to 87 months. Judge says, I'll hear from the government. Prosecution says, I'd like to respond after the defense as well. Today is about accountability and justice for 15 years. What? The victims' lives have been shattered by abuse and exploitation. Let me plug this in. What the? Maybe I'll have to read it again too. Guideline. Okay, so offense level 27, criminal history category 1, meaning he has a clean record pretty much. Guideline range 70 to 87 months, roughly 5 years and 10 months to 7 years and 3 months. Important. This is the starting point, not the final sentence. The judge can still go up or down under. So the prosecution's not happy with that. They want more. And what are they saying? 15 years? They're trying to go for 15 years? 15 years of abuse. Oh, for 15 years, the lives of the victims were shattered. Okay, they're saying that. Okay, I understand now. Prosecution also says this is not just a case about freak-offs in hotel rooms. This is about what victims he put hard, I guess, maybe said about a man who did horrible things to other people. His currency was control. He weaponized it. All of the 3553 factor points to at least 135 months. Oh, she's trying to go high. They're trying to nail his ass. Oh. 11 years, 3 months? Is that what it is? It says 11 years, 3 months. Wow. So that's almost double the guideline. Well, if you start at 5 years, 10 months to 7 years, 3 months, they're trying to go hard, bury him. It's not looking good for him because at least he's probably going to get 5, 6 years. At least. Unless the judge feels gracious and he's like, I'm going to go under the guideline. But I don't think he's going to go under the guideline. Oh, man. Prosecution says the defense accuses us of seeking 135 months so that the court will split the difference. We think probation's recommendation of 60 months does not account sufficiently for the harm to Cassie and Jane. Damn. They're trying to nail his ass.
For federal prosecutors, obviously during this, the defense had criticized them all along the way to say, hey, you're overstepping. This is someone who you may not agree with his lifestyle, but it doesn't make him a RICO criminal. It doesn't make him the head of this criminal organization that's trafficking women all over the place. So in a sense, they need a strong conviction today to almost justify everything that's happened and all the circus that's been surrounding this over the last year, more than a year and a half now, since some of the initial things sort of got started. I mean, they need this conviction to be significant.
Yeah, I mean, look, the government has spent millions and millions of dollars on this prosecution. They've spent years on this. They filed very aggressive public charges against Combs, charges that couldn't stick once the jury evaluated all of that. Yeah, they want a significant sentence, but this was still a loss for the government at this point, the fact that he was acquitted of the RICO conspiracy and acquitted of the sex trafficking.
Which a lot of people thought running a criminal organization empire was an overreach anyway.
It clearly was, and the jury agreed with that.
All right, guys, it is 11:09. We've been on our newsroom live feed for more than an hour. Just as we wrap up, Seth, I know you asked you a second ago, but you keep getting the updates. I don't know where your phone is plugged into, but you keep getting those updates.
Inner City Press. Okay, another update. So, prosecution says the defendant tries to argue that this is just a sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle. This is a case about transportation for prostitution and violence. The defendant admitted to the violence at trial. The defendant's respect for the law is lip service. Slavic. Christy Slavic. Let's see what she looks like. Oh, that's her. Slavic. Christy Slavic. Okay. So she's going in hard this morning, trying to make sure he gets at least 11 years, I guess. She also says Mr. Combs has booked speaking engagements for Miami for the next week. What? No. He has booked speaking engagements for Miami for next week. This is the height of hubris. He did this for 15 years. He was responsible for transporting many escorts. That's a lot of freak-offs and a lot of hotel nights. He knew it was illegal. He really scheduled a booking for next week?
Are watching YouTube, we are going to keep the cameras up and running. We know a lot of people like to watch those streams, and so they're not going anywhere. We'll be up all day. Thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, back in the day, hoax. Yeah, I've heard of those stories. That's all it was. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, hooking up. Those bands. Oh, they're playing Diddy out there. What you wanna do? Damn, so they're playing Diddy music out there. Wow. Incredible. Okay, let's see. Mr. Combs has booked speaking again. Okay, we got that. Damn. What? No way he booked something next week. So one. Okay, let's check. See, date. Damn, bro. So Netflix has been coming under more fire. I talked about it yesterday. Some other cartoon. Now they're finding more cartoons, kids cartoons, of like stuff like this, where it's just like girl on girl kissing and all this stuff. What shows? This is Jurassic World Camp Creators, aimed at children. People are finding more and more stuff like that. So just be careful what your kids are watching. Another show, Strawberry Shortcake. They have all kinds of stuff on there for kids that are, you know. I wonder if the lawyers are going to contest that whole booking for next week. That's crazy. There's no way Diddy thought he was getting out by next week. You're getting out today. Maybe thinking time served. Let's see what the chat is saying. Oh no, man, my hair is. What's up, Heather? I don't know. Why is federal court not televised? Marley asked. That's a good question. I never understood that either. Let me see if there's any kind of. Because Marley said we should have full transparency. Rule 53 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. The rule explicitly bans broadcasting judicial proceedings from the courtroom. It's been in place for decades, basically a blanket prohibition. Concerns about witnesses and jurors. The official reasoning is that cameras could intimidate witnesses, make them less likely to testify honestly, or pressure jurors who know they're on national TV. But there's a lot of trials that are streamed and they don't have the cameras on the jurors. Or sometimes there's even been times where they turn it away from the witness. The witness doesn't want to be on camera. Okay, turn the camera away. Just have the mic on. Fear of spectacle. Judges and lawmakers have worried about turning serious trials into media circuses. Think O.J. Simpson. Arguments for television. Transparency builds trust. I think we should have transparency. Prevents selective leaks or spins from prosecutors' defense. The BLM says 4 years. Okay, we got another little update here. Even in cases that decline to apply the cross-reference, significant sentences are handed down, including in this district. Consider U.S. versus Dylan Jordan. He got 60 months, 5 years. That's really bad. It's going to look really bad for Diddy if he actually did book a speaking engagement. U.S. versus Dylan Jordan. Apparently, Dylan Jordan was a Hollywood producer who ran a high-end prostitution ring. He got 5 years in federal prison in 2023. Slavic is citing that case to say, even without enhancements, judges in this district have handed down serious sentences for sex trafficking-related conduct. Look at that. Heavy guns.
Get the fuck off my land!
Protests.
Get the fuck off my land! Get the fuck off my land! Get the fuck off your land! To my land, motherfucker! To my fucking land! Get off my land! Get off my land! Get the fuck off my land! Get the fuck off my land! Get off my land! Get off my land! Get the fuck off my land! Get the fuck off my land! Get the fuck off my land! Get off my land! What's it 6,943 Americans died in Iraq and Afghanistan for? Get the fuck off my land! Get off my land! Get the fuck 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 off my land!
You thought he was saying leg? Get off my leg!
Get the fuck off my leg! Get the fuck off my leg! Get the fuck off my leg! Get the fuck off my leg! Get the fuck off my leg! Get the fuck off my leg! Get the fuck off my leg! Get the fuck off my leg!
You guys get tired of screaming that? So, okay, so the update was, so she used a comparison to consider Dylan Jordan, somebody that got convicted for, I guess, trafficking. The judge replied back and said, in Jordan, the defendant had been convicted and imprisoned in Cuba in the years prior. Convicted and imprisoned in Cuba in the years prior, am I correct? And that's why the judge, Cronin, varied upwards. Prosecution says that is correct, as well as other factors. Judge says, so there is a distinguishing feature. So he's basically saying it's not like a straight comparison, like a fair comparison. I'm trying to figure what happened to this guy. Let me see. Okay, before his U.S. criminal case, Jordan was convicted in Cuba for crimes tied to prostitution/sex-related offenses. He served 8 years in prison in Cuba, and he was released around 2010. Immediately after his release, he's alleged to have returned to the United States and started or resumed the prostitution enterprise. That is the basis for the U.S. federal prosecution, 2010 to 2017. So the Cuban conviction did not count towards Jordan's U.S. criminal history category under the sentencing guidelines. However, the judge varied upward, gave a sentence above the guideline range, partly because of the Cuban history. The judge pointed out that Jordan, despite serving time in Cuba for similar wrongdoing, resumed illegal conduct, showing a lack of deterrence. Okay. Oh my God, he's still screaming. Okay, prosecution goes on to say there's also a case by Judge Kimba Wood. Mann Act cases with fear, violence, and threats routinely get significant sentences. This is not a simple transportation case, but it has major aggravators. As to Cassie, he hit her and stomped on her. She goes on to say the video from the LA hotel was played many times at trial and it never got easier. As to Jane, he punched her, he slapped her a little over a year ago when he knew he was under federal investigation. At trial, they said they owned the violence. Kimba Wood. So she's really trying to do anything to get more time on Diddy. She should, I guess, does she have any other prostitution trafficking comparisons that she can try to reference? Or is that the only reference she had? The guy that got sentenced to 5 years that had previously done it in Cuba, got caught and arrested and charged and came to the U.S. to do it again. So she's trying to say because there was fear and violence used that that should be a factor to consider.
We'll all back get back in. Get the fuck off my land! Get the fuck off my land! Get the fuck off my land! Get the fuck off my land!
1 second.
Get the fuck off my land! 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 Piggy, piggy, we don't want you in our city! Piggy, piggy, we don't want you in our city! Piggy, piggy, we don't want you in our city! Get the fuck off my land! 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 fuck off my land! Get the 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 fuck off my land! Everybody has to do a free Get the fuck off my land! 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 Get the fuck off my land!
Isolate my voice a little bit more, so you guys are actually going to have to tell me if this mic is picking that up. So I will. Okay, great. So what you're looking at right now is directly down 25th Street, looking north, and this is really the most peaceful part of this protest that we've seen. These protesters are just standing directly in front of different enforcement just kind of held at bay here on the side of the street, and we understand that that's why local law enforcement is here.
Get off my land! Get the fuck off my land! Get the fuck off my land! Get the fuck off my land!
That's ironic from him, right? Get off my land! But they're protesting ICE. Okay, so let's do some catching up. We left off with the prosecution mentioning Judge Kimba, and that with Mann Act cases, fear of violence and threats routinely get significant sentences. She talked about the LA hotel video, and that she also said here, okay, so prosecution says admitting to violence in front of the jury as part of a trial strategy is not accountability. Freak-offs were extended performances of sexual degradation and humiliation. Cassie and Jane did not want to have sex with strangers. He made them do it. Prosecution also says he had an escort urinate, oh God, in Cassie's mouth, until she choked. Her victim impact statement makes clear that she still has nightmares and flashbacks and the scars on her body. Jane's text makes clear her anguish and trauma. Prosecution also says Mia said she got PTSD and anxiety. Donat Nash said he was caused lasting damage. Capricorn Clark says he was blacklisted. He blacklisted her once. She spoke up. Chef Jordan Atkinson wrote how he was, or she was, impacted. It was real and serious. Prosecution says he downplays the abuse, calling it rare, but it was not rare. Cassie's testimony was that he was violent with her at any time. It was not mutual. You saw no photos of the defendant with injuries. Okay. Damn. So they brought that back up to the urinating thing. I forgot. There was something about the urination thing I can't remember. During the trial. Oh, Susan, that's what I was thinking of. Okay, Susan said Cassie admitted to the urinating part. Evidence said she would instruct the person how to do it so she wouldn't choke. That's what I think that's what I was thinking of, something like that. Or there was something to it. The people. A lot of people out there. Oh, Broadview? Isn't that Chicago? Oh, Illinois? What do you say with this? Oh. Oh.
Sorry, I'm yelling at my guy. He's right here. He was right here a minute ago. They suck.
Okay, let's check for some updates.
Hey, Sal.
He blames doctors for prescriptions. He pretends he is the victim. He hasn't accepted responsibility for his criminal conduct. The information provided to his expert was incomplete. He will pose a danger at any age. He choked Jane at 54 years old. Prosecution goes on to say, prostitution causes other problems. It happens out of public view. General deterrence is needed. Send a message to all victims and to the public that this defendant's crimes are serious, you could encourage or discourage abusers. Damn. Yeah, she's laying it on heavy. So think about the victims, not just in this case, but all around the world, and what message you're going to send with this sentencing. And if you sentence on the lesser side, well, now you're encouraging abusers. Dang. Quit your job.
Get the fuck off my land! 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 Get off my land!
11 protesters were seen handcuffed, taken into custody. Prosecution goes on to say at least 135 months are necessary. Dang. Judge says, let's take a break. So they're on a break right now. Oh, man. 11 years, 3 months. So the prosecution is going for 11 years, 3 months. That's what they want. Grand Blanche shooting. Police release body-worn video. Oh, shit. Oh, gotcha. Okay. We're going to take a look at this here too in a bit. They're about to drop some body-worn camera for the Grand Blanche shooting, the church shooting. So we're going to take a look at that too when it starts. All right.
Dig it, I dig it. Yes, sir.
Instead of braiding it down, crochet it in. You see the leave out? I can braid on my leave out, curl my leave out. They know what's happening.
If you don't do this, man, we're going to tell Caesar that you will have a buddy.
Welcome to New York.
So you're supposed to be Caesar's governor.
Oh my God, this guy's still good.
Who wearing them boots? I got
Excuse me. It's COVID.
They arrested DHS. They beat them up. They're guarded.
That's the mother. That's the mother. That's their mom.
People had jail for their mother. They tortured them. All of them. Next day, they grabbed them. It's a Roman. They locked up all the lives right now.
All right, we're waiting for them to start the Grand Blanche shooting. Get the off my land! Oh, I don't know. Yeah, is he pro-ICE? I can't tell. The guy's screaming. Is he pro-ICE or anti-ICE? Is he screaming to the people out there protesting, get off my land?
We don't know why. N-A-D-I, fight for Trump. We don't know why.
Oh, turn around and arrest those guys. Okay, well, they're on break, waiting for them to come back, and waiting for this press conference to start. We're going to tune in and watch this press conference when it starts. They're getting video set up. They're going to show police body-worn camera video. Tell me. Give me something. Give me something to hold on. I know, Scar. Maybe they took off of work, man. Maybe they took a day off, requested time off. Maybe they're on vacation.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it here and just kind of keep it out of everybody's way to walk in. So.
Shitty press.
Yeah.
What else? Heavy police presence, San Antonio.
That'll probably happen when I retire in 2 years. I was going to say retirement is coming. Yeah, retirement's coming, but.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Damn,
9, 10,
they got serious cops out there.
14, 15. Okay, I could probably turn my stuff up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm gonna turn my. I'll turn my audio. Yeah.
Turn me up.
I think everybody else is good. So.
Turn me up. There's a SWAT situation. Put this on the screen. Not this. Damn. Is it a standoff? What's going on over here? Back. Oh, okay. We got SWAT out there. I know it's an active SWAT situation in Texas, west of downtown. Oh, look at that. Are they still inside, or did they get out? Doggy. They look kind of relaxed though. It says active SWAT situation reported on the west side. Okay. They're back from break. They're back, and Combs' lawyer Driscoll is going to speak. And so Driscoll says, "I'm grateful, Your Honor, to you being so permissive with the microphone for us today. I'm going to talk about sentencing disparities. A blind reliance on the guidelines can create disparities."
Make sure somebody comes and talks to you in a minute. Sure.
Driscoll goes on to say the DOJ has long said that the Mann Act prosecution should focus on the commercial cases. Sean Combs did not make a penny from this. The Jordan case, it's not comparable. He served 8 years in Cuba for sex crimes. That was his second chance. Driscoll goes on to say Jordan made $1.4 million. Do you know how many sex acts that is? He had over 100 clients. Mr. Combs' offense is nothing like that. 3 of Jordan's victims reported unwanted sex. 1 was raped after being drugged. Let's do these two. Cowboy. The boys are there. Boys are back in town. House is torn up. Okay, let's go for some updates. Let's see what we got. Okay, we're still waiting. Somebody here replied and said all of Combs' victims were drugged. All of them. Somebody said if all four attorneys speak, this is going to last until 7 p.m. and the judge won't change his mind regardless. You got the whole team speaking today. Felony Fridays. Friday. The ICE protests. Check for updates. Boom, boom. Press conference hasn't started yet. This Texas situation looks like there was some type of standoff. I don't think I'm assuming the person must be in custody by now because they look very relaxed, but this house looks torn up. I don't know if it was already like that or it got torn up in the process. You still got the Bearcats and stuff there. SWAT out there. No idea what happened though. Very little information. Oh, they're saying the FBI might also be on scene. Ooh. Updates yet. Okay. Driscoll. Oh, okay. They started here. All right, we can listen to this press conference update for the Blanche shooting. They're giving they're gonna play video.
First is going to be the Grand Lake Township Supervisor, Scott Bennett, S-C-O-T-T, Bennett, B-E-N-N-E-T-T. He will be providing a community update. After that, there'll be Chief William Rennie, William Common, Rennie, R-E, Grand Lake Township Supervisor, Scott Bennett.
Thank you. Scott Bennett, Grand Lake Township Supervisor. Thank you to everyone in our community that's come together in this time of our tragedy. As I've said over and over, that we're not going to allow this incident to define our community, but our response to it is what we're going to be defined by. I want to speak with you about two important events, or two important opportunities to support our community. First, we have so many people that have been affected by this tragedy. The families that were attending church services, our first responders, and others in our community. If you can financially help support the victims of this shooting that occurred on September 28th, the Victim Compassion Fund is something that guarantees that 100% of the donated funds are going to go to the victims of the tragedy. If you want more information, you can go to Elga Credit Union's website at elgacu.com or go to Grand Lake Township's official website or social media pages. There are no fees paid to any organization involved with this fund, which includes representatives of Grand Lake Township, our police department, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc that will be distributing those funds. Unfortunately, we have become aware of fraudulent activity or scams that are working, and we're working to stop them. But rest assured, our Victims Compensation Fund is a secure method for people to give. In addition to the Victim Compensation Fund, several foundations, including the C.S. Mott Foundation, Community Foundation of Greater Flint, and the Alga Foundation, are working together to make sure that every victim of this tragedy, including our first responders, get the help they need. If you know someone that needs help, please contact my office at 810-424-2692 or a member of church leadership. If you know someone who needs help, please send them our way. Thank you for making sure that we focus on helping the actual victims of the situation. Second, we want to invite everyone to an important community gathering next Tuesday evening, October 7th at 7 p.m. The Grand Blanc Better Together Community Reflection event will provide an opportunity to respectfully gather in support of all people affected by this tragedy. This non-denominational, non-political gathering will allow us to support the victims and their families and friends, first responders, medical personnel, and our entire community. It'll be an evening of healing, remembrance, and support. The event is being organized by our township, the City of Grand Blanc, the Grand Blanc Community Schools, and the Grand Blanc Chamber of Commerce. It'll feature a number of speakers, so please make plans to join us on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Grand Blanc High School at Don Batchelor Field. The gates are being opened at 6 p.m. with our program underway at 7. We have shuttles for transportation. Please check out our website for further information. Thanks again for everything that our community has done to support us, and we're coming together and proving in the process that indeed we are Grand Blanc strong. Thank you. And now I'd like to have Chief Rennie join us here.
We will never forget this incident, but I promise that we will not let this define Grand Blanc. We will strive and we will be better together. I'd like to thank the media that's present today. You've gave us space, you've allowed us to grieve, and I appreciate that. Our condolences go out to everyone in this nation who has been affected by this particular incident. And we appreciate the outpouring support and the compassion that we have seen our community come here together. It's important to me to continue to have the trust within this community, and I believe in being very transparent as well. So I have some new information that I want to provide you today. That's part of the purpose of this press conference today. So originally I gave you some times. I gave you that we had responded within 30 seconds and that assailant was found deceased by our officers within 8 minutes. After time, I've had some chance to review the body camera footage. I've also had to review the call logs. And what we found is from the time that the call for service went out to our officers, this incident ended much shorter than 8 minutes, 3 minutes and 43 seconds. I'm going to give you a new timeline now. 10:25 and 32 seconds, Genesee County 911 receives their first 911 call stating that the caller had been shot in the stomach. 10:25:48, so that's within 16 seconds. Dispatch puts out to our officers and they begin their response. 10:27 and 46 seconds, Michigan Conservation Officer arrives on scene. That's a 1 minute and 58 second response time. 10:28 and 54 seconds, our Grand Blanc Township Officer arrives on scene and exits the vehicle. That's a 3 minute, 6 second response time. Now, I'm about to get to the video. I will not release the officers' names at this time. It's a current investigation is being conducted by the Michigan State Police. That's standard protocol within the state of Michigan that all officer involved shooting go to the state police. What they do, they review the reports, they review witness statements, They get all the digital evidence, they compile that, and then they submit that to the prosecutor's office. We are not responsible for charging officers. That is completely up to the prosecutor's office. As the officers stand right now, both of them are on paid administrative leave, meaning that they are not actively going out and responding to calls for service. Now, what you're about to see is an unedited version of the events that took place that day. It's a brief 47-second video. It has been shortened down. The reason why it's been shortened down is for the sake of this press conference. What you would see prior to the officer's response is him just responding inside his vehicle. Afterwards, for this video ending, he gets up and close and personal with the deceased, and this is not the time nor the place to review that video at that point. We have to remember people are first, and the assailant also has families that are suffering and victims as well. So what you're about to see here is two officers running to the sounds of gunfire to save lives. Very courageous actions. This is what law enforcement is trained to do, and this is how law enforcement should respond to these incidents. That's what we swear an oath to protect and serve. You're going to hear a barrage of shots being fired, several of them, in the northwest part of the parking lot of the church. Our officers then immediately start running towards that. You'll hear two additional shots, which we believe at this time are from the conservation officer. You'll also see to the left of the body camera that there is a member from the congregation that's also running that way with a handgun. He does not fire his weapon. You'll hear several loud verbal commands. Drop the gun, drop the gun, drop it now. The subject refuses to do that, and then at that time our officer fires at least 8 shots. IT, if you could turn down the lights and play the video, please.
I got your back there, man. Yeah, stay there. Shoot him. Get back, get back. Drop the gun now. Drop it. You good? Top CO, you good?
Wow. Yeah.
If you could replay it one more time, IT, please.
No, come on. Sorry, you're gonna have to bear with me next. I just closed it. Hold on.
IT, they're going to receive a copy of this afterwards, okay?
They went right into the...
Forget it. This is the response that law enforcement needs to do. So we quickly responded. It's a hard video to watch. I know that. However, I want to touch base on our officers. The reason why we put this out is so we could all begin to heal. I know that we've received a lot of video requests through the media to get this video out. We saw no need about 3-4 weeks or whenever this officer is cleared to reopen the wounds. So we wanted to be transparent, get this out, so now we...
Let's watch it one more time here. Let's see. I'll just rewind it back.
I got your back there, man. Yeah, stay there. Shoot him. Get back, get back! Drop the gun now! Drop it! You good? CEO, you good?
Wow.
No problem. I apologize.
That was it. The presser said they released
Again,
video.
I want to remind the
Church shooting update. All right, all right. Let's check on Diddy now. Texas. Okay. All right, let's see what we got for Diddy updates. Diddy. Note as Combs Driscoll goes on about U.S. versus Dylan Jordan, Interceded Press has put up an extra about that case. Okay. Combs Driscoll, there's another case with 7 victims. No grouping enhancement applied. Defendant got 18 months. Was released after 9 months. Then there's 18 CR 20376 from the SDFL. They generated 1.8 million and they only got 15 months. Combs Driscoll says in John cases, the average sentence is 6.7 months. In this other case, the defendant texted the victim, I meant what I said about making you a mold of your pussycat. The rest of you ain't worth shit. Damn. That's crazy. He said he's going to make a mold of her pussycat. The rest of you are not worth nothing. I'm just going to keep the mold of your pussy. God. Wow. Judge says, but there was no threat of violence in that case. That's what the judge said, but there was no threat of violence in that case. Combs Driscoll says Ms. Slavic just blamed Mr. Combs for having a drug problem for 25 years. We think that is inappropriate. It's a mitigating factor. Let's talk about 13 CR 294, District of Oregon. The defendant paid for a session with a young girl. See docket 85. Combs Driscoll says that defendant, Riggs, got 24 months. It was more heinous than this case, 3553 A6, says to avoid unwarranted sentencing disparities. I've read all 900 Mann Act cases available on Pacer. His case is different. Judge says, who's next? Mr. Westland Moore. So the defense, Westland Moore, says, I want to focus on the inspiration Mr. Combs has given throughout his life and on the commitment he made while in the MDC. Mr. Combs was successful, but he used it to help others. He touched many more lives than I can cover in the next minutes. So the first defense attorney is done talking, I guess. Now's the second one. I think the first attorney, defense, brought up some interesting... He brought up way more references and cases than the prosecution did. And he literally said he's read all 900 cases. Damn. So he brought up a couple of comparisons. Look at all these people. Look what they've done. They only got this time. All right. Caught up. It's like a party out there in New York. They're blasting music, chilling, hanging out, dancing.
spend short. Please.
Okay.
I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I haven't had any information.
I don't want to hear Westmoreland about the inspiration of Combs. I don't want to hear about that shit. Speak to the case. The sentencing. I guess that's part of it, but I don't want to hear about that shit. The influence and inspiration he was. He was such a nice guy. Boom, boom. Got a big truck up there. What's that for? Still no updates. No, I didn't see a chase last night. I know there was a chase, but it was really short, I heard. I didn't want to get up for that. Was it any good? Put it on. Something big must have happened out there in Texas. Something. The Bearcat's still there. Okay. Got one update here. Combs Westmoreland said there were not many black-owned labels. Did I miss something here? Oh, it just starts like that. There were not many black-owned labels. Mr. Combs had the audacity. I sent a message that you can do it. Clothing, too. It was not just urban streetwear. It was upscale. It brought unity. It inspired change. Oh, that's so nice. I guess. I don't think he's making a great case, but okay. Something getting towed. SWAT. Combs, as Westmoreland says, in spirit, our community finally had a seat at the table, a voice, a real voice. Then there was revolt, sobs. I mean, he starts crying. There was revolt. What the? SWAT's leaving now. Let's see what else we have going on. It's popping. Deputy fired following off-duty gun incident. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Stop! What are you doing?
Okay, let's check this out. Let's check this out. I don't know what this is. Something crazy. There's something crazy in here. Zoom in a little bit. Shut up! He got balls. Yo, respect, respect. But I don't want to get shot, but respect. What? He came up. Wow, where's the rest of that? What?
Get on the ground.
Bro. So I said deputy fired, off-duty gun incident. Dude was high, cracked out, methed out. What was he on, yo? Damn. A 19-year veteran from the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. The incident happened September 28th at a Hilton Head Island neighborhood. The video shows Squires drawing a gun on a group of teens, ordered them to get on the ground, interacting with a backpack, then later pointing the weapon. Squires refused a breathalyzer. Data met a test after concerns that he might have been under the influence. Oh, the officer? William Billy Squires, a 19-year-old. Oh, they wanted to do a breathalyzer on his ass. He didn't want to do it. The sheriff's office said there was multiple policy violations and requesting SLED. Wow. South Carolina Law Enforcement Division to investigate possible criminal charges. His law enforcement certification is being reviewed for potential revocation. Oh, man, that's crazy. Wow. Mama. Power hungry, cracked out, off duty. Still no updates. Very little updates coming in with this guy's testimony. Or, the lawyer talking. Boom, 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 boom. They cut off the Texas.
This is News 4 San Antonio today.
Texas cut off. Mama's love. You can always count on Mama. Wild. Pretty wild stuff, man. Yeah, there's like no updates coming out from this guy, at least, with this person speaking. Let me update the title back to the original. Oh, somebody got arrested. Somebody got arrested.
Cállate la jeta, puta. Mucho tienes habla español. ¿Qué fue? ¿Qué fue? ¿Qué fue, mi amor? ¿Sí? Okay. No, no. También. I don't do drugs. I don't even know what that bitch is on. I'll let you know. Yo, 8 weeks. We can pop something for real. Yo. I'll see you.
Just get on the sidewalk, guys. You guys can record on the sidewalk.
Arrested.
Oh, can you just tell the person on the phone? Can you tell the person on the phone that what Chris comes on? Oh, she hung up.
Why is he getting arrested?
Thank you. We went through this already. We went through this already. I'm pressing charges. Everybody on the sidewalk, you can record, but stay on the sidewalk. There's too many people here.
Wait, why are you arresting him?
Do your job. Do your job so we can go. You know what I mean? Like, look at this.
Wait, why are you arresting
for the
him?
same thing. Man, y'all know that NYPD, this is wrong, man. He's the one that's wrong right here, man. You know that's wrong right here, bro. Thank you. Here come the original people. I knew that was going to happen. Original people. Out. The original people. You know this is wrong, right? You know this is wrong.
Out of the street. Out of the street.
I don't mind the money.
Out of the street. Everybody on the sidewalk.
I knew NYPD.
Why are you arresting him?
I know, man. This is wrong, though, man. I knew it.
Everybody
said it, man. I said it.
But why you, what you saying?
How you doing? This is wrong, man. I knew it. You know this is wrong. I knew this is wrong.
Let's go. Let's go. On the sidewalk. On the sidewalk.
Arrested.
The bullshit. Let's go. People are still coming after me. Let's go. It's fucked up because they keep. So they get on the sidewalk. Let's go. Come on, guys. Keep going. Keep going.
Yo, man, you know this is wrong.
On the sidewalk. Let's go.
Wait, why are you arresting him?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody, let's go.
You know this is wrong, though, man. This is wrong right here, man.
Let's go. Go on the sidewalk and record.
You know it's wrong.
Let's go.
You know it's wrong. You know it's wrong.
And on the sidewalk, Georgette.
They don't do nothing, bro.
Everybody on the sidewalk.
They do nothing.
Let's go.
NYPD always do this stuff right here, man. You're arresting arrested man for no reason, man.
You guys don't understand?
What happened?
What
did he do?
Yeah, no, this is wrong, though, man. You guys just do this stuff. NYPD every time we do this stuff. Every time.
What precinct are you
Y'all
taking
will arrest
to?
them for no reason, man.
So they arrested
That man
somebody
didn't do
at the
nothing.
Diddy trial.
Yeah, they ain't do nothing, man. This is why I don't understand about NYPD. You guys get for a better job than you, but arrest people for no goddamn reason. He didn't do nothing, man.
Why are you arresting? So they arrested somebody. They arrested somebody at the Diddy trial. I stay away from that.
It's NYPD.
She deserves it.
That man didn't do nothing, man. That man didn't do nothing. It's NYPD. Always fighting with the rest of the like that.
NYPD.
That man didn't do nothing, man. No. Why would NYPD have some credibility?
MTA lady tapped me up for it. He asked me for it. No, he had a bet. I think my man over there went upset. Oh, man? Yeah, he working about it.
He never bothered me, so I don't know. I just booked him. He just booked him. What's the every night? You're the lady out of
Back up. We got him. So you gonna arrest a man because he said he gonna shoot Diddy? I mean, how you gonna arrest a man because he said he gonna shoot Diddy?
Ain't nobody said that.
Says he's gonna shoot Diddy.
Exactly.
What
Your
is
friend
that?
Candy came back and called police again.
Candy?
Yeah.
Hold on, man. You got one.
Oh, somebody snitched? Somebody
She's a
snitched?
bitch. I can't stand her.
Who did that?
That's crazy. And she pushed people. She's violent. Candy's violent. She's violent.
Candy, though, man.
Candy's in trouble.
That's bullshit, man. Candy, man. That's bullshit, man. Candy, man.
Back it up.
Yeah, it's bullshit, man. Yeah, man. It's bullshit, man. Candy, are you serious? Candy got police on you right now. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's Candy, man. How you gonna arrest a man, Candy?
She's a bitch, man.
Back it up! Back it up!
Where the fuck is your bag?
Back it up! Bullshit! Right here! How you say Candy, man? Back it up! All right! How you say Candy, man? How you arrest my Candy?
Don't touch me. Yes.
How you gonna arrest a girl Candy, though, man?
On the sidewalk.
Wait, it don't make no sense, dude. No, man, arrest me too. Arrest me too, man. Arrest me too, man. That's bullshit right there, man.
Sidewalk.
No, arrest me too. Arrest me too, man.
Arrest him, man. He wants to be arrested. Arrest him.
On the sidewalk.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's bullshit, man. Candy, man.
Listen.
And she's violent as fuck. She been
Come on, man.
I don't know who Candy is.
Candy didn't call police on you. She called police 4 times and shot Diddy come back.
Who that is?
You don't know the Candy girl called Candy?
She assaulted me. Should I get her arrested? She pushed me the
Are you
last
serious,
time.
man?
Yeah, I'm serious. I don't know who Candy is.
You know who Candy is?
I just showed
She
up here.
pushed
I
me.
don't know.
Should I get her arrested? She pushed
All
me
I'm
the last
asking
time.
you,
man.
please, for
Come
your
on, man.
safety, on the sidewalk. That's it. Just you can do the same. From here, you're fine. There, it's a problem. Just stay on the sidewalk.
Yeah, but you don't know who Candy is? You don't know who Candy is?
What's your badge number? What? 221.
Free him.
So who called police then? Who called police?
You can say actually stay on the sidewalk. That's all. Make
But
sure.
who called police, man? You know what Candy? You know who Candy is, right?
What?
You know who Candy is. I can show you who Candy is.
Bro, me and you got a good relationship.
I know, man, but bro, that man should be free, right?
I'm always nice to you, right?
No, you're right.
And I always respect you. I know.
I'm standing here. But I'm saying, that man should not go to jail because Candy, if you know who Candy is, you tell that man to get out of the car right now, man.
But that's for those guys to investigate, right? Me and you, we're staying here. All I'm asking is for my cameras, just stay on the sidewalk. That's it. Stay on the sidewalk. That's all I'm asking you. That's all.
No, because
I respect everyone you and what you do.
Yes.
Just stay on the sidewalk.
But that right there, that's bullshit.
Because if you're in the sidewalk, if you're in the street, you can't make that turn. That's all I'm saying. He can't make that turn.
Drama.
You'll end up getting hurt. I don't want that.
You got arrested.
He's talking about Candy. Yeah, he's talking about Candy.
She's lying.
Fuck that
She
bitch.
lying, man.
But she pushed me. The last time she said she was pushing people. Yeah.
But
Candy's in
look,
trouble.
look, man, look.
Candy's in big time trouble.
She's supposed to get arrested.
She was the one who pushed him first.
Yes, she pushed. I know. I saw a woman. She pushed me and then she was pushed a bunch of people.
So she was like,
But it doesn't matter whether it's a video or not. Doesn't matter, bro.
She fighting, yeah.
Who won?
She fight people. She getting someone arrested. That's crazy.
Oh, that guy right there.
No, she fights people. I saw her video with the last time she's there. She was pushing people and she pushed some random white bitch out of nowhere.
Bro, you just know it's
She's
cross.
arrested.
If you taking pictures,
She's supposed to get arrested.
yeah, that's all. What am I going to jail on that, bro? What am I going to jail on that? What am I going to jail for? They not. What am I going to jail on?
She fights
Yeah, they don't supposed to be here.
She
They don't supposed to be over here.
people. She fights me.
That's the question.
Just another day in New York. Candy's in trouble, whoever Candy is.
I would just suppose that. I
mean, that's what I heard, but then also
like
You better leave. I don't think I'll be looking for her. All right, let's check for some updates. Hopefully they got something now. Okay, Combs, Westmoreland goes on to say he was just trying to help. He opened 3 charter schools in neighborhoods where the schools were not good. The motto was Black Excellence. The youth are our future. Mr. Combs personally inspired me. I went to an event in D.C. Mr. Combs was there. He said, listen, everyone, I'm sorry. And supposedly this guy's crying as he's telling the story. He said, don't be afraid to dream. Just remember to wake up and put actions behind your dreams. And then he said, don't forget to help others. That changed my life. Westmoreland goes on to say, Mr. Combs is just a man. He has made some mistakes. He has flaws like we all do. But how many of us can say that we've helped so many lives, countless lives? He's been in jail and he's remorseful. I spend every day speaking with him. And then they just did one more post. He goes on to say, in the MDC, Mr. Combs started asking people their dreams. That's how free game for Diddy was born. No one's done this in the MDC before. Okay. Diddy. Wendy, thank you so much for the 5 emergency White House press conference soon. Okay, we'll check it out. Also, Elizabeth, thank you so much for the 20 earlier. Sorry I missed it. Mel, thanks for your coverage and update news. You're the best. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, you said the White House emergency press conference? Let's see. The White House. They haven't started yet. Okay. Well, it says it's expected to give the latest updates from the Trump administration. White House press conference. I don't see anything about it being an emergency press conference, but we'll tune in for a little bit and see what they say when they start. Okay.
The volunteer service, the benefits someone has provided to a community. Have you seen that? Has that been effective before?
No, I have not seen it before, but obviously we're now living in a technology age, and I think this may be the start of something. I'm sure other individuals who have access to footage or B-roll or photos that they may be able to show their goodwill in the communities that they come from across the country, they may be able to establish something like that, like Mr. Combs is doing, to show his human side. And this should be something to illustrate for all individuals that are being incarcerated across this country, that they may be humanized and that they may have to take responsibility for their actions, but they still can contribute something to society as they move forward. So I think this is a good thing that he's doing to show his human side, even though he's convicted of the 2 counts that he was. And I believe that this could be a start of something in the future for other individuals who are facing federal and state time.
Sierra, there's a lot of question, a lot of feeling about the emotion there today, right?
Okay, so Westmoreland said there's no benefit to warehousing Mr. Combs in prison. Thank you. Okay, so judge says Mr. Steele. So Mr. Steele gets up and says, we wanted his children to come up, then show the video. Judge says, please come forward. And this person says, my name is Quincy Brown. He's my father. Okay. So they're bringing up the kids. They're going to play a video. Wish we could see the video.
Victims in this case. There are people who don't believe he should have been convicted. There are people who believe he should have been convicted across the board. What is that feeling that you're seeing from outside the courthouse and as you've been covering this trial?
I think it's hard, right? Because the reason that we all are following this case is because we know the name Sean P. Diddy Combs because he was a celebrity. And that's really what it is. When we know a celebrity, we know them from afar. We idolize them because of their music or movies, etc. And we don't necessarily know what's going on behind closed doors. But now with this trial, with everything seemingly out in the open, it does, to your point in that poll we spoke about earlier, change the course of public opinion in regards to P. Diddy and the allegation and now conviction that he has. So I guess it remains to be seen what sort of reaction Diddy himself, Sean Combs, will have when this sentence is handed down. As for what's going on right here, I've seen a little bit of everything. Earlier throughout this live stream today, I've heard multiple people running up and down the street yelling, "Free Diddy." So there are still supporters here for P. Diddy. Additionally, I just saw a man moments ago who came over live streaming and said, "I've been watching Law and Crime. I love you guys." So you know we have people here who are watching our live stream down at the courthouse supporting what we're talking about here. So it's an interesting juxtaposition of emotions here on both sides.
I want to get 2 quick points from both my guests before I have to sign them off. Sierra's going to stay with us, of course. So there's an update here, Dr. Hendricks, from court, Nicole Westmoreland. There is no benefit to warehousing Mr. Combs in prison. Thank you. Judge asked Mr. Steele. Mr. Steele says, Brian Steele, one of his defense attorneys, we wanted his children to come up, then show the video. Judge says, please come forward.
So Quincy Brown says here, his son, he is transformed. He will not jeopardize his freedom again. As his children, we wish to heal together. Next is Justin Combs. And he says, I ask you to forgive my father, to give my father a second chance. My father is a superhero. My father always told me to believe in God. So we got the kids coming up there, man, pleading. Please let him out. Please consider he has a family. He's so much he can give to the community. He goes on to say, I talk to my father every day, every other hour. Next, Christian Combs. They did it pretty quick. I'm the one who most resembled my pops. My mannerism. My whole life I studied my dad up and down. He's the greatest man in the world. My superhero. Damn, somebody said lock that boy up too. Damn. Diddy Jr.
We wish to heal together. Next up, my name is Justin Combs. I ask you give my father a second chance. My father is my superhero. My father always told me to believe in God. I talk to my father every day, every other hour. Next up, I'm Christian Combs. I'm the one who most resembled my pops, my mannerism. My whole life, I studied my dad up and down. He is the greatest man in the world, my superhero. Is this going to have an impact on the judge's decision, Safa?
I think it's most certainly going to have an impact. And I think that this, in part, is going to be the defense's strongest tactic to get the judge to come in alignment with their sentencing request. Right now, what you see is obviously the children of Mr. Combs who are really delivering heartfelt, heart impacting, and pulling at the judge's heartstrings for leniency for their father. And these are the individuals that truly have firsthand relationships and that will be impacted the most with Mr. Combs' absence. So I think that what they're going to be saying and what his other children continue to say will have a compelling effect on the judge. So compelling that, he'd give him time served or the 14 months essentially, probably not. But I think that these statements from the children are going to really echo in the judge's mind as he considers his sentence.
Safa Robinson-Ferrer, Dr. Dwayne Hendricks, thank you both so much for coming on. Really, really appreciate your expert insight and analysis into this as we continue into another hour of the Sean Diddy Combs sentencing. Sierra Gillespie and I will be right back. We have new guests coming on. Again, I said full day affair. We don't know how long this sentencing is going to happen, but we're covering it for you right here on Long Crime.
Could be all day. Could be till Monday. Hello. Hello? Another person arrested. They got another one. Another one. Oh, mama, what happened? Another one down. So he said, my father is the greatest man in the world, my superhero. Christian Combs goes on to say, he told me to treat a woman like a queen, and I do. Damn, this is horrible, given the circumstances. He told me to how to treat a...
7, 8, 9, 10. Antoine, you and lawyer.
He told me how to treat a woman like a queen, and I do. I see in his eyes, as his twin, that he has changed. The next person... My name is Jesse Combs, and I'm 18 years old. And he starts crying. When my mother died, I was just... Oh, that's a she. My bad. When my mother died, I was just a little girl. I remember my dad sitting us down. My daddy taught me how to treat women. Oh, shit. Damn. Man. Will the pleas from the family help? From the kids. Jesse Combs goes on to say, it helped me survive when I wanted my mom. Next, my name is Chance Combs, his daughter. He's changed. Cries. Sorry, he speaks with a clear mind. What the hell was that? So Chance says his daughter, my name is Chance Combs, his daughter. He's changed. And then she cries. Sorry, he speaks with a clear mind. Next is Delilah Combs, another kid. We watch our 2-year-old sister. She can't grow up fatherless. How many kids does this fool have? A whole dozen? He does have quite a bit of kids.
Hey Mel, thanks for covering this.
Next is Tiki. Yep, I'm Nosy. Thank you so much. Thank you for the 23 bucks. Thank you, thank you. Fingers, Ravonda, Karisha, Darisha, Tanisha. Letitia, Larisha, Faranda. What did you want from her? What they want. Delilah Combs, Your Honor, please. And she's crying as she's saying this. Please let us move forward, not as a headline, but as a family. Judge says, thank you all. This is important for me to hear. Oh. Combs Steele, the defense, says, we would like to show the movie. Oh, the movie's right here. Here on X last night. Okay. All right, you guys ready for a movie? Let me mute the sound. Wait, what am I? Okay. Okay, let's go. The Sean Combs movie. Tell me if you're the judge, you know, for you're having to decide, does this help sway you, your mind?
What are you giving to the world? I don't think you know, man.
I started out just like you guys. I come from New York. I grew up in Harlem. I used to have to wear a uniform every day. Had to get up early in the morning, had to travel to go to school. I worked hard, just like you guys are working. This country and this world we live in may have planned for y'all. I didn't listen to that, and I don't want y'all to listen to it either. Y'all are great. Y'all are kings. Y'all are queens. Y'all are leaders. I just got so excited because this is truly a dream come true for me. And I'm happy to say this is our third school we have opened. This official. When we come together as a people, nothing can stop us. What I want to do with my freedom is, make sure that I can make change.
And I found out that Mr. Sean.
Today, God is the greatest. He blessed me and my girlfriend Kim in the world with 2 beautiful baby girls.
Where's Justin Bieber?
We have breaking news to tell you about now. Model and actress Kim Porter, who shares 3 children with Sean Diddy Combs, has been found dead.
She just loved me unconditionally, She just loved me just for me. It's like the closest you could be like with a person.
I get to thinking about her, and I go to crying about her.
Today, now I'm a full-time dad, and I'm gonna be there for you through everything, all of y'all. Every Sunday, I gotta slow everything down and do the family ritual, get the family together, make some girls watching church.
There is a definition of grace that is more.
Pops, I love you. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for inspiring. I've looked up to you and admired you outside of you just being my father, just you being just a great human being, a kind human being. Yeah. I love how you inspire me to keep going, to never stop following my dreams, to always believe in myself.
See a book, but in that middle part.
I wanted to tell you how much I love you, how much I care for you. Thank you for being so supportive of me and my siblings' dreams, for always encouraging us to go for whatever we want.
We love you. We can't wait to make more memories with you. Just like thank you for everything you do for us. Yes. And you're gonna great love more than you think.
I had to pick this trophy. I want the best person trophy. But I know in order for me to get into heaven, I'm not going to get in there, well, come on in heaven, you had 20 hit records. That don't mean nothing. And that's what this world is for. They're going to say, oh, come on in heaven, you was a nice person.
I love you.
I love you so much.
I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hi, Daddy.
Not the little baby. All right, man. Did that do it for you guys in the chat? Would that sway you, okay, maybe, we'll give it. I'd shave off a month. Maybe a month. No, I don't know, man. It's, I don't know. That's the Diddy video. Let me see what happens when they get back. Are they gonna continue? Are they gonna take a break? Let's see. I don't know if they're gonna take a lunch break. Okay, the video's over. Judge says Mr. Steele, who is speaking next. They say the Reverend Dr. Johnson, then the man from the re-entry program, if you permit. Any more lawyers? He said myself, then Donaldson. Okay, so they got a bit to do. So they got Reverend Dr. Johnson, then somebody from a re-entry program, and then Steele and Donaldson. So 4 people. No problem, bubblegum. I'm thinking at some point, it's just speculation. They're going to take a break at some point, probably, because this is. Oh, they're taking a break now. We're resuming at 2. Okay, so they're done for now. Diddy, say it ain't so, Diddy. Say it ain't so. All right, well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this morning. I'm going to get off for now because in a little while I have to go pick up my daughter from school. And she has a doctor's appointment after. What I think I'm going to do, this is what I'm thinking. Once they start at 2, I won't be back for a little bit, but once I get back, I'm going to keep an eye on what's going on in the courtroom and let all these people talk, I think, and then see what happens. Because then the prosecution has to go. We'll see what happens later today. Because we could catch it up very easily. You know, so if at some point they're wrapping up or they're about to do, the judge is going to sentence or whatever, I'll just jump on and we'll cover it all and whatever. All right. But thank you guys so much for watching me. I appreciate it. It's Felony Friday, so anything could happen. Who knows what's going to happen tonight? Maybe nothing. Maybe something. All right. Please follow me, subscribe. Diddy! Get off my leg! Yeah, even the mob have families. They went to birthdays, events, you know? All right, guys.